Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm your host, Mariam, and today I'm here with our lovely, lovely guest.
Asma.
Our podcast today is about inspiration and successful stories. Now, Asma, when I say inspiration or when I say successful, what do you think of when I say the word successful?
To me, success has two meanings. The first meaning is the ability for you to reach your goal. And the second meaning is how the goal and the success itself, it's going to affect you and the community you live in. And how you're going to make sure that you're going into the right way while, processing the
Success.
exactly. Basically, when you fail and when you get into a lot of troubles and still have the
Yes.
commitment to stay on the track and reach your goal at the end.
I love the way you phrased it because honestly, success in general, when I asked a lot of people outside of this podcast, when I'm asking them, what do you think of success? They always talk about money. The first thing they think of is, people with money, people who have made it in life with millions and millions.
Yeah.
Which I think that doesn't make sense because the meaning of success or successful, when you look it up, is accomplishing a goal.
Yeah,
The goal
exactly.
could be anything, waking up in the morning.
To me, actually, I can't judge you by numbers. I don't judge people by numbers because numbers doesn't mean anything at the end.
Yeah.
Like success is how it's going to affect you in your life and how you deal with people. Like if we talked about numbers, like I could have like straight A's. My bank account is like the highest thing. But to me, like I don't have like a good personality. I didn't learn anything and I can't even communicate with people. So numbers to me, it's just like a number and a useless thing.
Honestly, numbers, when you're talking to people,
Yeah.
numbers, when they only think about numbers or they only think about grades or they only think about money, do you notice their attitude is kind of, or their demeanor is very, very, very like,
They're kind of aggressive.
yes,
And
they're very
they want
aggressive.
you to listen to them. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, I got the grades. You need
Yeah.
to listen to me. And I'm like, okay, you got the grades. It's like I have the personality. And at the end, grades don't mean anything.
That is
They
so
don't
true.
represent you. Doesn't mean that I got an F, that I'm not successful in life.
That's true. A lot of successful people, if we're talking about successful people that people think are successful, they literally failed during
Yeah.
high school.
To me, I find myself successful, although I failed physics in high school. And
Who doesn't? I failed it too.
And after I failed it, to be honest, I was judging myself by what people will say about me. And I was focusing about my success about people, it's not me. That's why I didn't succeed in my life, kind of. But my father taught me some like good things, and especially about not listening to what people talk and say about me, because at the end, we're not going to please anyone. We're only going to please ourselves.
True, that's so true. Wait, what exactly did your dad say to you that made you like completely take this narrative of grades and thinking about them 24/7 to, you know what, they're not that important?
Yeah. First, let me represent my father. My father is Majid Muhammad bin Sheikh Ahmed Al Khazraji, and he was serving as the president of the State Audit Institution before in the United Arab Emirates. And basically when I failed, he was the first one that got in my mind, like, oh my God, how am I going to see my father? What is he going to say about me? But to be honest, when I went to home, he laughed.
He laughed.
He laughed. He was like, Asma, you got straight A's in all your subjects except physics? Like, what happened? What what happened? You
Out of
studied
all the straight A's, you got an F.
in physics. And then I was like, I have no idea. I guess like it's a bit like stress. I didn't focus. And then I was like, no, you did focus and you did study very much. But you focused about what's going to happen next, and you focused about people comment. So you focused on how to succeed, but you focused on people, not you. When you want to succeed in something and it's something like a goal you want to reach, it must be about you. It doesn't mean you need to please everyone. So I was pleasing everyone and putting me aside and not focusing about my opinion. So I didn't succeed because at the end, it's not something that I want to do. That's why I failed.
I feel like what he said was really, really, really powerful, especially coming from parents. Like, you don't expect a reaction for them to laugh when it comes
Yeah.
to grades and such. But I find it very inspiring, like what he said, especially like, for example, my mom also, I used to think about grades all the time. And
I mean, who doesn't?
yeah, exactly. Because in high school, everything was around grades, even now in university.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking about my mom, she's really successful and she didn't need a mark or a person to make her successful. Yeah. Like, for example, she's a person who loves to learn. And as a young child, she always had to go through like really, really like tough times, especially like before in Lebanon, there were wars. There's still wars, but
Yeah.
you know, the wars were different.
deeper, yeah.
They were deeper. So she always had to move from place to place, and it was such a constant struggle for her. And I felt like she told me when she was trying to educate herself, her goal to be successful was to be educated. So she'd like make her mom put her in different schools. Every year she'd go to a new school. One year, yeah,
She discovered a lot of places.
a lot of places, a lot of languages. One year she was in French. The next year she's in a school full of Arabic, only Arabic. So she like was learning different languages every year, and she'd still go in the top of her class.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes, because every time she failed, she told me, every time I failed, so what? I like to fail. Let me fail and I'll succeed later. I'll learn from what I did.
I love her mindset, actually.
Me too. I wish I was more like her as a kid, because she was doing this as a child, like not even as an adult. So I felt like, wow, like that's amazing. Even parents, like being successful, like for example, like do you have any success stories that your dad has told you and you're like, wow, I couldn't do that if I was you?
Oh, yeah. Actually, my father, his father, and actually his mother was, she died when he was born, so he was living with his father only. I could never live without that. Like every single day when I have an exam, I need to run to my mom, like, oh my God, the exam was hard, whatever. Like, you know, you're going to braff about it to your mom. So he didn't have that. And also because like my grandfather was working like full time, so he wasn't around that much. So my father had his own to study, focus about himself, finish high school, get into university, study law. He actually graduated baccalaureate in law. And then after that, he started working. So before working to be the president of the state and audit institution, he actually worked 13 different jobs.
13?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know.
13 jobs.
But, you know, for him to have his own community and people to know him more, he must have done that by himself. So to me, I'm not going to work 13 work, you know? Like, I think life is more easier nowadays, of course. And because of him and because of his name now. So, like, I could have, like, easily done a lot of things. Like, of course, حتى my succeed, I know succeed have, like, different success, have different sizes. Like, his success was way bigger to me. I would never done whatever he did. And with his stress and everything, and marks didn't mean to him. Like, so what if I failed? So what if something, so what if someone talked bad about me not succeeding? It's the way I see success is. Like, for example, he told me, Asma, I could see success as waking up every day at 6 a.m.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, but you didn't do anything. And he was like, no, I did. I woke up every single day at 6 a.m. My schedule now, it's like, when you wake up at 6 a.m., actually try to do it. When you wake up at 6, if you're usually waking up at 8 and you woke up at 6, you're going to feel like your day is longer.
Yeah.
So this is a success to him. And to me, it was like,
why do you wake up at 6?
Exactly. And to me, it's like, isn't success something you did and people need to be proud of, your family? And then he's like, Asma, stop. See, you said people, not yourself.
Whoa, he's very, very inspiring when he's talking about that, because he's basically taking what you're saying and he's like, wait, backtrack, stop talking about people, it's about you. Which I think genuinely success and goals, people will always criticize you before you become successful. They'll always say you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. Like for example, my mom, when COVID hit, she graduated at 16 and then she started working. Because her siblings were older, they always had priority over her to go to university. So what she did, she started working. That's all she could do at the time. So when COVID hit, she was like, you know what? No one's going to see me. No one's going to know me. I'm going to go into university and get my bachelor's. And she was going through a lot of things. It's also our society, you know?
Yeah.
Like our society is very like against like, you're a woman, what are you doing? Why are you working? What's going on? But
especially like if she has kids and already married, like you already have kids, you're married, like what do you want else? Like a baccalaureate certificate for what?
Yeah.
Like you're already like you have everything.
They always take like education towards like her specifically because she's old and she already has everything. They're like, what's the point? But for her, it was everything. Even when I was younger, grade 10, I didn't need her to sit with me.
It's never too late.
Exactly, it's never too late. That's something I learned. Even when I was in grade 10, she'd sit with me and she'd want to learn because biology changes every year.
Yeah.
So she'd want to learn the new information. So when she went into university, at her old age, it was so hard for her because she went into after COVID died down, she had to go to classes.
Yeah.
So when she went into classes, everyone was looking at her like, are you the professor? And then when she told me when I sat down, I felt like embarrassed, like I should have been like the professor. But after the university was done and over, all these people she met that were younger than her, they were telling her, you're so inspirational, you inspired us that we can actually do it.
And it's never too late to reach your goal.
Yes, because goals are set by you. And she set this goal and went through all these struggles.
I love her commitment.
Me too, because she was working, 3 kids, but
and she still had her goal deep inside, buried in her heart. Like, I want to do that. No matter when she's going to do it, at the end, she did it.
Exactly. And that's why I find her one of the most inspirational people, because she did it with everyone against her. Like, even my grandma, which is her mom, was like, why are you doing this? Like, you already have a full-time job. She was like, no, I'm gonna do it.
And already your schedule is full.
Yeah, and I remember she'd not sleep to study, and she graduated this summer.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you not for me, but for her. But she graduated with a 3.9.
Oh, mashallah.
And honestly, I cannot relate to that 3.9. I wish I could get that, but I'm not as determined as her. But she took the days, even though she didn't feel motivated, she was like, no, I'm going to do it. And it was like a commitment. And she taught me like committing yourself and doing this and failing is okay.
Yeah.
So honestly, she inspires me a lot. And I feel like from you as well, your dad inspired you so much, especially when he told you, like, why are you caring what other people think?
Yeah, he did. Especially when I failed. Like, I thought I was a failure and I thought I couldn't succeed and I can't success in my life in university. And I thought my life stopped it. But then I was like thinking about it in another way, the way he said. And then I found out that you need to fail and you need to, like, fall down multiple times during your path, and that's how your success at the end. You get more stronger. Maybe you're going to a lot of stuff I did it while I'm studying. It wasn't the perfect thing.
Yes,
I changed it by knowing what I can do and what I cannot do. So failing or failure, it's not that big of a deal.
It isn't that big of a deal. Yesterday we failed, remember?
Yeah.
Like, I failed personally. Yesterday I failed, but today I'm doing better.
Much better,
I'm learning from what I did wrong. So I feel like failing is genuinely not something that should put others down, and we should enjoy the fail, because me failing, it taught me that I have people that have my back and they're gonna come help me and like push me up when I'm down. For example, yesterday I was trying to film and I forgot to press record, which happens a lot, and you're supposed to, learn from that. So today I changed, and a lot of people changed their schedule to help me. So like in failing, I found a community. So I'm actually technically succeeding because I'm finding different things. So I'm actually thankful to fail half the time.
Actually, yeah. Like, let's think about it. Like, I'm really grateful that I failed in physics. Because if I didn't fail in physics, I'm not gonna have this personality right now.
Yes.
I'm going to be one of those who focus about numbers, to be honest.
I don't like that. That's so sad. I feel like it's just sad to just focus on one thing that doesn't determine the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm happy we both, I was like that, so I'm happy we both got to move on from that and actually like failing and passing.
Yeah, I feel that's the passion of life. To like to have a goal, fail, learn from it, and then like commit to your goal and then continue.
So I'm really happy that we got to talk about this, and thank you so much for being part of our podcast.
You're most welcome. I was really happy to join you today.
I'm really happy you're here more, and thank you everyone for watching or listening to this week's podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this week's inspirational stories. I hope you learned something, and never be afraid to fail. Thank you.